timeout, but against the Bulls he does. Here's Jordan, he blows by Pearson, jammed it down!
When you think of the Chicago Bulls dynasty, one name dominates the headlines: Michael Jordan. But behind every great king is a warrior just as crucial to the empire's rise.
Jordan. Oh, a spectacular move by Michael.
Ball tapped loose from Elo, and here comes Jordan. Behind the back, what a play.
That warrior was Scottie Pippen. Underrated, overlooked, and yet absolutely essential. This is the story of the man who helped build a dynasty and the battles he fought along the way. Scottie Pippen's journey to greatness didn't begin in a basketball factory. He was born in Hamburg, Arkansas, a small town with big dreams but few resources. Pippen wasn't recruited by any major schools. In fact, he walked on at the University of Central Arkansas and grew from 6'1" to 6'8" during college, transforming him from an equipment manager to an NBA lottery pick. He was selected 5th overall by the Seattle Supersonics, then traded to the Bulls on draft night, a move that would forever change Chicago basketball. Scottie Pippen wasn't just a sidekick, he was the Swiss Army knife of the Bulls. A lockdown defender, a point forward who could initiate the offense, a transition terror. As the Bulls rose in the late 80s and early 90s, the road to greatness ran through two brick walls: the bad boy Detroit Pistons and the physical, bruising New York Knicks. Pippen sharpened his steel in those playoff wars. From 1988 to 1991, the Bulls and Pistons clashed in 4 straight postseason battles. The early years were rough. The Pistons' infamous Jordan rules weren't just aimed at Mike, they beat down Scottie too. Most famously, in Game 7 of the 1990 Eastern Conference Finals, Pippen played with a migraine and struggled, finishing with just 2 points on 1 of 10 shooting. The Bulls lost. But Pippen came back stronger. In 1991, Chicago finally conquered Detroit in a clean sweep. Pippen averaged 22 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 5.3 assists while taking on the task of guarding multiple Pistons stars, including Isaiah Thomas and Dennis Rodman. His all-around dominance helped push the Bulls into the NBA Finals and into history. Then came the Knicks. Throughout the early 90s, Pippen was a consistent thorn in New York's side, especially in the playoffs. Against the Knicks in the 1993 Eastern Conference Finals, he averaged 18.4 points, 7.2 rebounds, and 6.6 assists, showing off his versatility. He also held All-Star Charles Smith and others in check defensively. Regular season, same story. From 1990 to 1998, Pippen averaged 19.3 points, 6.6 rebounds, 5.9 assists, and 2.1 steals per game against New York and Detroit combined. Elite numbers against the most physical teams in the league. Coaches saw it, teammates felt it, opponents feared it. Phil Jackson once said, "Scottie was our most valuable player in terms of everything: defense, versatility, leadership." Michael Jordan echoed the same sentiment. Whenever they speak Michael Jordan, they should speak Scottie Pippen. In 1993, Michael Jordan shocked the world and retired. Many thought the Bulls were finished, but Pippen wasn't ready to fade. He averaged 22 points, 8.7 rebounds, 5.6 assists, and 2.9 steals per game, ranking in the NBA's top 10 for steals and assists. He led the Bulls to 55 wins, just 2 fewer than the previous season with MJ. He was the undisputed leader. He made his first All-NBA first team, and he finished 3rd in MVP voting behind only Hakeem Olajuwon and David Robinson. Then came the playoffs and another war with the New York Knicks. Pippen averaged 21.6 points, 8.9 rebounds, 4.6 assists, and 2 steals in that brutal 7-game series. He carried the load offensively, but also took on the toughest defensive matchups, guarding everyone from John Starks to Charles Oakley. But one moment stuck in people's minds. With 1.8 seconds left in a tight game, Phil Jackson drew up the final shot for Tony Kukoc, not Pippen. In protest, Scottie refused to re-enter. It was the only stain on an otherwise brilliant year. The Bulls still won that game, but the media and fans questioned his leadership. Behind the scenes, things were boiling. Pippen signed a 7-year, $18 million contract in the early 90s. At the time, it offered security for his family. But as the NBA exploded financially, Pippen's deal became a glaring injustice. By 1997, he was making less than backup role players. And the man he held responsible? Bulls GM Jerry Krause. Their feud became personal. Krause had openly explored trading Pippen even after the championship runs. Pippen responded by cursing him out on team flights, even mocking him publicly. Then came the moment that divided fans and teammates alike. Heading into the 1997-98 season, the Bulls' last dance, Pippen chose to delay foot surgery until just before the season started. It was a deliberate move. His message was clear. If I'm not getting paid what I'm worth, I'm not going to sacrifice my body early. Some fans saw it as justified, a protest by a grossly underpaid superstar. But others, including Jordan himself, viewed it as a betrayal of team unity. Jordan said, "Scottie was wrong. He could have done it early in the summer. We needed him." The front office blamed Scottie. Scottie blamed the front office. And the locker room was caught in the middle. In 2020, the world would get an inside look at the greatest dynasty in basketball history through The Last Dance. But for Scottie Pippen, it didn't feel like a celebration. It felt like a hit piece. Throughout the series, Pippen was painted as moody, underpaid, and at times unreliable. From sitting out that final play in the 1994 playoffs, to delaying surgery in 1997, to playing through back pain in the finals, Pippen felt portrayed unfairly. He later said, "They glorified Michael Jordan while not giving nearly enough credit to me and my proud role in the team's success." The documentary sparked debate. Was Scottie underappreciated, or was The Last Dance finally showing the full story? By the 1997-98 season, the Bulls were fractured, but still formidable. It was the last ride for the dynasty, and Scottie Pippen was still central to everything Chicago did. But in Game 6 of the NBA Finals, his body finally gave out. Just minutes into the game, Pippen aggravated a back injury on a dunk. He could barely walk, limping through screens, barely lifting off the ground. Most players would have tapped out, but not Scottie. He played 26 grueling minutes, finishing with 8 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists while serving as a decoy to free up Jordan down the stretch. Phil Jackson said he gave us what he had, and what he had was heart. Jordan hit the iconic game winner. The Bulls sealed their 6th title, but they don't get that moment without Pippen's grit. After the 6th championship, the dynasty was dismantled. Michael retired, Phil left, and Scottie Pippen was traded to the Houston Rockets. It was the start of a nomadic stretch. In Houston, he teamed up with Hakeem Olajuwon and Charles Barkley, but clashed with Barkley and left after 1 season. Then came Portland, where Pippen helped lead the Trailblazers to the 2000 Western Conference Finals. Even in his twilight years, Pippen was a defensive genius, guarding players half his age, dictating tempo, leading huddles. By the time he retired in 2004, his resume spoke volumes. 6-time NBA champion, 7-time All-Star, 10-time All-Defensive Team, top 75 all-time, Hall of Famer. Kobe Bryant said, "Scottie was a beast. People don't talk about how smart and disruptive he was defensively." Charles Barkley said, "If Scottie played today, he'd be a max player and probably a top 5 MVP guy every year." Scottie Pippen's story is one of resilience, of sacrifice, of knowing your value even when the world doesn't see it. Yes, he had flaws. Yes, he made controversial decisions. But you can't write the story of the NBA in the 1990s without Scottie. From Detroit migraines to Jordan's absence to 1998 heroics, Pippen was more than a co-star. He was the backbone. "There is no Michael Jordan without Scottie Pippen," said Michael Jordan. "And there's no Bulls dynasty without number 33.